Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. You know, a constant theme on this channel since the beginning is preparations when it comes to food. We talk about being self-sufficient as possible, growing your own food, raising your own food, processing your own food, preserving your own food, how it's critical. It has been said by nefarious people in the past that if you control the food supply, you can control the people. And there's some more coming out in the news today that, or the last couple of days, that just indicates how much more important that is. And I want to talk about that here in just a second. I do want to mention that this Sunday is our local meeting, the one that we host here locally. A lot of people were thinking we weren't going to do it this month because it's December and, you know, all kinds of different holiday and family functions. But we've decided to go ahead and do it because the times are getting pretty crucial. It's getting serious, and there's a lot of things going on, and we are so busy behind the scenes here with our local community doing things that we felt it was just absolutely necessary to continue having the meeting this month. So that is this Sunday at 2 p.m. For those of you that come regularly, please attend. I believe it's going to be a really good one. Anyways, so this, I want to show you this in the news. It came out, I believe it was this morning, that food prices, well, let me clarify because I don't want to give out incorrect information. Vegetable prices, the prices of vegetables have risen in 1 month by 38%, 38.1% actually. This is a dramatic increase. Now, this isn't food overall. This is just the prices of vegetables. And some might say, well, it's that time of the year, you know. I mean, most of us are into fall and winter. Well, that's not true everywhere. There are places around the country that are producing vegetables, you know, pretty much year-round. The real cause of this, at least they are claiming the cause of this, is because of the lack of water for these vegetable producers, these farmers, to produce their crops. The big thing is that I want to key in on is that is a huge price increase. In fact, and that's just month over month, okay? That's not year over year. If that was year over year, while that's a lot, it would be a little bit more to take in. This is month over month. 38.1% month over month. The news is reporting that it's possible that some of that price increase could be absorbed by the stores and stuff, but there's just no way possible that a grocery store could absorb all of that price. Now, the bigger number that I think is that food prices overall have increased because of this jump, have now pushed the numbers up to about an 80% increase year over year. That's astronomical, folks. I know that there are going to be people that are saying that, well, you know, this is just an unfortunate thing that's happening right now, that, you know, it's inflation and, you know, the climate stuff and the weather and you know, wars and everything. It's just kind of a perfect storm against food. And while that's extremely possible, there could also be some other factors that people are forgetting and not adding into this. And that is the fact that I firmly believe that a big part of this Great Reset Agenda 2030 New World Order is to gain complete control of the food supply for various different reasons. I mean, they're not even very secretive about that. They claim, though, it's because of climate change and we've got to come up with more, you know, environmentally sound ways to produce food. But I believe it's also to control the people. I mean, it's no secret to any of you folks watching this channel that the amount of what I would call Frankenstein food abominations that have been pushed into the public. You know, the FDA has approved, you know, synthetic meat now, and we're talking about all kinds of lab created and eating bugs and eating things that are really not meant to be food. I showed you an article a few weeks back about how they're working on the technique of taking plastic, you know, plastic waste The kind of stuff that they complain about in the oceans and in the landfills, that plastic waste, and converting it into an edible food product for humans. I believe that there's some various things going on here. I mean, on the surface, maybe it's just environmental. There's definitely going to be a lot of people that support these things that don't understand it, and they just on the surface say, yeah, it's good for the environment. But I believe it's also very much control. There's no evidence whatsoever that any of this stuff is really healthier. In fact, all the evidence that I have ever seen in my life indicate that the most natural foods, the foods that were created for us to eat, are always going to be the most healthy. The less processing that you get in a food, the less mixing around with other things, as natural as you can get. Complete natural whole foods are the best. And it's like we're trying to get away from that, especially for the peasants, us common people. We don't want to eat, they don't want us to eat the stuff that's good for them. They want us to eat the stuff that they give us. And of course, they're going to eat the high quality stuff. This is, I believe it's multiple things here: population control, fertility control, potentially mind control, in the sense that it can tend to dumb people down. There's all kinds of things. I mean, I could probably make several videos on this subject, going deep into the reasons why having all this artificial food is a bad thing. I believe it's directly tied into the fact that we're seeing increased food prices. We're seeing, chickens being killed and euthanized by the tens of millions. We're seeing all kinds of food plants shut down, different farming being shut down, farmland being bought up by foreign entities and by billionaires. There is a war against food. Okay, I don't see it any other way. And if you really think that I'm off on this, feel free to convince me of that. But I do believe that there is a serious war against food. And this increase in the price of food, I think, is part of it. Now, that doesn't mean that we won't see food prices kind of dip down here and there. But now more than ever, folks, we need to be getting really serious about our own food production and then about local food systems. I believe they go hand in hand. I know that a lot of you are saying, well, this is great to talk about this, but, I'm not going to be producing any food for the next few months because it's wintertime and it's getting cold. And, well, that's true for most of you, but there's no reason why you cannot start planning for that. Do you have the things that you need to grow your own food? Do you have the seeds and the tools and the right fertilizers? Have you ever done it before? It's not as easy as you think. I've been gardening since I was a child. And there's ups and downs to it every year. I have good, parts of it and bad things and things that I didn't do right and things that failed. I mean, that's just an annual, that's how it is farming, okay? So don't think that it's like a TV show or a YouTube video where you go out there and throw some seeds down and then have a bountiful harvest. You need to kind of practice at it. You need to learn how to do it, hone in your skills. And figure out how it's done. It's the same way with raising animals. It's not always easy and it's not cut and dry. This is something that we really, as a greater community, need to be focusing heavily on, is our independence from these modern controlled food systems. They absolutely are trying to control us through the food. This has been something that has been done for a very long time across the whole planet, that if you want to control people, you control their food. And here we see a 38% price increase just in vegetables. I think it's all part of it. Maybe I'm digging too deep into just this one thing, but if not, or if I am digging too deep, if nothing else, it should be as a reminder that we need to be, and it's actually possible to be fairly food independent. That doesn't mean that you're going to be able to raise and grow and produce every kind of food that you're used to eating. No, you're going to have to change your diet if you want to eat completely self-sufficient. You can also support it, your diet within the community. Maybe there's others that produce things that you don't do. You know, maybe you produce lamb and your neighbor down the road produces beef and you swap back and forth. Or, you know, your property, you have enough to produce a lot of potatoes and they produce a lot of wheat, and so you trade back and forth. It's not that you have to produce it all on your own. It's that you're working within your community, developing self-sufficient, independent food systems. And this is something that your prepper community, your homestead community, homeschool community, all these types of off-grid communities can come together and work with. It's common to find farmers markets in a lot of these rural areas, and I would encourage you to participate in those. Give your money to them as opposed to Walmart and Target and all those places, the big box, you know, Kroger and stuff, grocery stores. You may pay a little bit more. You probably will, but sometimes you can get a better deal. But the thing is you're getting a higher quality of food, and you're also supporting your local food system. So folks, this should not, if nothing else, seeing that vegetable prices alone have jumped 38.1% in 1 month period, should be a wake-up call for you folks that you need to be getting very serious. This last year, I said all year long that it was the year to really work on your gardens, to get it down and to work on it. And I said that all year long because I felt that the next year, which is 2023, it was going to start being critical to actually producing your own food, that it was going to start affecting people, that if you weren't producing your own food, at least part of it, that you were really going to start feeling it when you were, you know, paying for your groceries. And that's already true. I think, I would guess that every one of you would agree to this, because everyone I've spoken to personally agrees to it. Go to the grocery store and spend the same amount of money on food that you did a year or two ago, and then compare how much you're getting. It's absolutely ridiculous. You know, it wasn't that long ago that a couple of $100 and you could have a big grocery basket full, and a couple of $100 nowadays, it barely covers the bottom of the basket, it seems like. It is affecting, and in fact, as a statistic I gave the other night on the channel, that it's something like 69% of Americans are struggling right now just to buy groceries. They're struggling with their grocery bills. It's hurting them. This is going to continue to happen, and most likely it's going to worsen in 2023, because every indicator I've seen show that 2023, when it comes to food alone, is going to be worse than this past year. So you need to buckle up and get serious with that. Make sure you've got your seeds. It's quite possible we could start seeing some seeds shortages. Whew, get my mouth working. In, you know, getting closer to spring, as things get worse, there's going to be a lot more people think, man, I need to grow a garden this year. These vegetables are expensive. I can't afford, you know, $5 a head for a lettuce. I need to grow my own. So make sure you have your seeds bought up ahead of time and everything is ready to go. The winter is a good time for garden planting. And if you have greenhouses or hoop houses and you're able to start things early, certainly do that, because it's quite possible. I don't know this for sure, but like I said, everything that's indicator is showing that next year is going to be a pretty rough year when it comes to food. So folks, it's time to get your houses in order, to prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.